Okay, now that we've had the whole orchestra play, let's talk about all the people sitting in front. You can see that they're holding their instruments up, and they have two things in common. One is the instruments are made out of wood, and two, they have strings. Different sizes, right? So if I ask Julia to play her violin, which is the smallest of our string instruments, it's going to sound like this. A nice, beautiful, high sound. If we go to the middle, we have our violas. And as they hold up their instruments, you can see a comparison with the viola being a little bit bigger than the violin. So I'm going to ask Lisa to play, but before she does, how many think it's going to be higher in pitch than the violins? How many think lower? Lisa? Okay, so we're already learning a very important principle. The bigger the instrument, the lower the sound. So if we go to our cellos now, what do you think, higher or lower? How many think higher? How many think lower? Diane? And of course, if we go way in the back, Charlie, our bass player, the biggest of our string instruments. And you know, of course, right? Charlie? Lowest of the low. So now the question is, how do the string instruments create their sound? I have a violin here. If you look really closely at it, you're going to notice that the strings are different sizes. The one closest to you is called the G string, and it is the thickest of the four strings. If I pluck that string, it's pretty low. It vibrates from the nut here all the way down to the bridge. Now, if I put my first finger down, we stop the vibration from the nut to my first finger, which means that the vibration goes a shorter distance from my first finger down to the bridge. And with that, we're going to get a higher pitch. If I put my second finger down, we stop the vibration, so it's going to be a shorter distance to the bridge, and higher or lower? Higher. Right? Now, if we go to the next string, the D string, it's higher because the G string is thicker than the D string. If we go to the A string, and I'm going to pluck the sound, does that sound familiar? It's the same note that Sarah played when we tuned. And interestingly enough, this note vibrates, that wobbles back and forth 440 times per second. Okay, so I've been plucking all these notes, right? That's called pizzicato. Can we all say pizzicato? Good. And as you listen to the orchestra playing, most of the notes are going to be with the bow, but there are going to be many that are with pizzicato. The bow has two major components. The stick, which is wood, but very carefully crafted wood, and then the hair. What kind of hair? How many think the hair comes from a gorilla? No, it's too short. This hair comes from horses, the tail. And we have all these different strands, and each of the strands has little barbs on them. And you put them all together, and they can grab the strings. But even with all the little barbs, it's not enough. So we have to add rosin. What's rosin? If you go in the forest, at certain times of the year, you can see the sap running down on the bark. Very sticky material. We collect the sap, boil it together, and create a cake of rosin. And we can take the rosin then and rub it on the hair. It then helps the little barbs get even stronger, and so as we pull the bow over the strings, it causes them to vibrate. We're now going to play a piece by Samuel Coleridge Taylor. Samuel's father was African. His mother was English, so he was biracial. He showed great promise in music at a very early age, went off to conservatory, and did very well. He was taunted by his fellow students because of the color of his skin. What's interesting, is that Samuel's teachers came to his defense and immediately berated the students. One of them said, "You know, Samuel has more talent in his little finger than all of you together have in your entire bodies." We're going to play a piece that Samuel wrote for the string orchestra. This is called a Novelletten, and we're going to play just part of it. And as you listen to the music, you're going to notice it is very much in the English style. There is no influence by African folk music or rhythms or anything else. That will happen later in his career when he was introduced to African-related music. But as you listen to this music, notice all the bowed notes and some of pizzicato, some of the plucking.